we want to get right to our speaker. We've got a great speaker in Sue McMillin. She's spoken to us before face to face. I think with all of us working at home today, or many of us working at home or at home in the office, back and forth, taking classes at home, organization is a paramount issue, and she's going to help us try to learn something more about how to organize. So with that, I want to turn it back over to you, Joe, to introduce the speaker.
Well, thank you, Roger. You pretty much almost introduced her completely for me, but I'll cover a few more things. We are very honored to have Sue talking to us today. I'm sorry, just right in the middle of as I began. When she got started out of University of Kentucky, she had a lot of different jobs with Christian work in Kentucky, with Ace Christian Schools, and even work in Washington, D.C. But in 1982, she created a seminar or coaching business with time to spare. And she's now able to travel throughout the USA, Europe. Let's go ahead and go to the next slide, Tony, and make her a presenter. She's working throughout US and Europe with corporations, hospitals, associations, manufacturers, churches. Just everybody can use a little bit of coaching from her as far as quality goes and being able to organize properly. So, yep, Sue, you're right on track. Go ahead and start your presentation. Yep.
All right. Thank you all. Well, I sat in and listened to part of what you all shared, so it sounds like an interesting association and a group and an organization. And thank you all for letting me come and just give you a few ideas on organizing your office and also giving you some ideas on organizing your home. I know that you're home now, most everybody is, and I'm getting requests from people who are saying, I had an organized office at the office, but now I'm home and I need help. So let me just give you some ideas. This program will revolutionize your office and your life also forever and ever. You'll redeem lost time. You'll reclaim valuable workspace, and you'll have a return on your investment. I'm just simply going to give you practical ideas to streamline your work environment. And then here are the benefits. You're going to increase productivity. You're going to gain space. You're going to be able to access your information. And because you access your information more quickly, that's going to save you time. And then that's going to save your organization money. And therefore, you'll get your return on your investment. There have been a lot of companies that have hired me, and they've actually gotten their money back that day in space saved or in filing cabinets emptied or whatever. You'll actually find money. A lot of my clients have actually found money. So these are some key benefits. The problem that we have is too much information is coming in. Someone once said information is power, but that's not true. You got to be able to access your information. If you can't find it or if you can't reach it, then it's not power. Somewhere at the bottom of your desk, old memos are being pressed into coal. I know a lot of my clients tell me that. My seminar actually is a program, and it's transformation. It's not just information. Now, tonight, you're getting information. You're not getting the transformation. The transformation comes when you actually work with me hands-on, and you go through and you eliminate redundancy, you eliminate clutter, and you set up new systems for your files, paperwork, supplies, etc. So it's information and transformation if you actually do it. And you can do it with me. I can help you remotely, or I can come into your office. So as Joe said, I was born in Kentucky, done Christian and missionary work, worked for the government, been a school teacher, etc. And presently in 2006, I moved to Colorado Springs, and I love Colorado. So I'm very happy being here. I have been overseas, and I've worked in Germany, England, and also Canada, and 46 states. And these are some of the industries that I've worked in, and these are some of the corporate and government companies that I've worked for. Christian organizations also have hired me, and also I've worked with Christian authors, widows, vice presidents, wives, senators, etc. So I've had a broad experience. Actually, I've actually done warehouses, trucks, and sheds. So it's been quite a ride. I've seen everything, and I know how you feel. Here are some signs of disorganization, and you may or may not be experiencing that. Some of these: holding on to stuff, or you're hunting for your files, or you're moving things around and you're unstacking, you're failing to finish tasks. You may have paperwork everywhere. If that is true, then you're going through your work to get to your work. And that's just a little rhyme that I've created, and it helps people to remember. It helps people to say, oh my gosh, I'm going through my work to get to my work. And if you go through your work to get to your work, you're doubling your work. So you don't want to go through your work to get to your work, because it's costing your organization money. Our stuff, what do we have to do with it? Well, there it is. Protect it, clean it, worry over it, haul it, store it, insure it, hunt for it, scrub it, hang it, level it, wire it, glue it, sweep it. No wonder we are so tired. That's what we have to do with all of the stuff that we have. So why are people struggling with this organization? And I get lots and lots of reasons as to why people are struggling. But over the last 38 years, the top 3 reasons that people are struggling, and this is from my clients, is number 1, they don't take the time. You have to take the time to set up your nest. You have to take the time to set up your systems. You have to take the time to eliminate redundancy. You have to take the time to go through all the stuff that you don't need, eliminate it, and then set up systems. The second reason is just too much stuff, and people start, but they don't finish simply because they have so much stuff. And you've never been trained. And that's what I'm going to give you tonight, is some training. Hopefully you will go back to your office and apply what I've taught you. By the way, before I forget it, if you'll email me, you can go to With Time to Spare. That's my website, With Time to Spare, WITH, With Time to Spare. You can go there and you can email me, and I will email you my 6-page handout that goes with this presentation. And that, therefore, you'll have all the notes at your fingertips. And the 4th reason is just so overwhelming. Those are the 4 main reasons that my clients give me as to why they do not get organized. Why do we need to be organized? Again, it's to redeem lost time, reclaim your workspace, and get a return on your investment. Now, if someone grosses $30,000 in your organization, they're worth 25 cents a minute. If they lose only 30 minutes a day, either going through their stuff to get to their stuff, or scrolling through files on the computer, or unstacking to get to things, then the lost productivity is $1,800. That's only 30 minutes a day, and that's $30,000 a year. The knowledge worker who makes $60,000 spends 2.5 hours a day searching for information. That's according to IDC data. That's $18,000 of lost productivity. So here's a picture of a senior manager of a hospital in Indiana, and you can see the before and after picture. Let me do this drawing tool here. There. And you can see we just got rid of it. We got rid of it, threw it away, or we filed it and gave her a whole new part of her office. For some reason, I'm going to have to take the drawing tool off.
Yeah, you got to change it for the PowerPoint to move, Sue.
I have to do what?
You have to turn it back off so that it goes back to PowerPoint for you.
I can't turn it off because I can't It's in the microphone and the camera, the green circles, it's in the way, and I can't click on the drawing tool. Let me do this. I got it. Okay, good. Sorry, guys. Here's a CEO of a company in Colorado Springs. He had absolutely no systems at all for loose papers or for his files or whatever. And so we went through his whole office and set up systems. We didn't just eliminate clutter, we set up systems, and that's the key. Now, I know that you've organized. All of you have organized an area. Everybody tells me that. But what people tell me is that, well, Sue, I've organized, but it slips back, and it slips back very quickly. And the reason that it slipped back is because you didn't organize, you did something else. So we're going to look at what organization is not. It's not tidying. It's not perfectionism. It's not cleaning. It's not rearranging. It's not hiding. And that's what most of my clients do. They hide it, they clean, they rearrange. One client said, I'll tell you what it's not. It's not natural. I thought that was really comical. So those are the things that it's not, and that's what my clients are doing. They're cleaning, they're rearranging. So if it's not that, what is it? Well, first of all, it's setting up systems, setting up a strategy, setting up a structure. System stands for saving you space, time, energy, money, and sanity. That's what systems do for you. And you know about systems in every area of your home, every area of your business. And organizing also is stewardship. And stewardship is taking care of what you own to extend its usefulness. Stewardship is taking care of what you own to extend its usefulness. This is a nonprofit in Colorado Springs, and they asked me to come in and help them to organize their large storage room. And they said, not only do we need help organizing, but we need a place where we can meet with our clients. So you can see what I did. I just brought in shelving and organized, and then we created space so they could have a place to meet with their clients. Being organized requires changing our thinking, and Stephen Covey said it quite well. He said, to change a situation, we must change ourselves, but to change ourselves, we have to change our paradigms. You have to change how you think. And I'm going to show you how you think sometimes throws you off and impedes you from actually organizing. Here's a client in Washington, D.C. that I could not help. I could not help him. And I'll show you why. In his hand, on his desk, he had a plaque. And the plaque says, "This clutter is my bread and butter." And he really meant it. He said, "Sue, I'm a very busy man. And I make phone calls, and I travel, and I'm in sales, and I got to have stuff at my fingertips, and I'm a very busy man." And he kept telling me he was a very busy man. And he was, but he was not organized. He did not have any systems. Now, we worked in his office. We got rid of stuff. We did. We gave him new systems. But he didn't change his paradigm because he kept the plaque. And so if you got to change your thinking as well as changing your office, or you will not be able to get organized and stay organized. Here's the number one paradigm that my clients say as to why they can't get organized. I don't have time. And I want to show you a picture of that paradigm and how to change it. This is a stack in an office in Indiana at Eli Lilly. And the man's name was Fred, and I walked into his office and I said, "Fred, what is that?" And he said, "That's a report." And I said, "Do you go through it? Are you in it?" He said, I'm in it all the time. That's my work. And I said, Fred, how do you find it? He said, well, I just go through it and I just look for it. And so I said, all right, is all of that stack of March? He said, yes, it's March. I said, well, find me March 17th. Well, it was a nightmare watching him try to find March 17th. I timed him. It took him 3 minutes. So I said, Fred, that took you 3 minutes to find March 17th. And he said to me, oh my goodness, I'm doing that all day long. I did not realize that it took me that long to find papers, but I'm doing it all day long. I said, Fred, let's put that in a system so you can find it in 3 seconds. You know what he said? I don't have time. And yet, we discovered that day that Fred was losing 30 minutes a day in that one stack. So here's what we did. We took that stack and we turned it into files. March 1 through 31. Actually, it's just files 1 through 31. So when March 17th comes in, he peruses it. When he doesn't need it anymore, he puts it in the 17 file. Then 5 days later, if he needs to refer back to March 17th, he can find March 17 in seconds. And so instead of saying, I don't have time to organize, you say, I organize to have time. That's the major change that you have to do in order to get and stay organized. If you make that one change, it'll totally transform your thinking and your office and even your home. Now, this man right here in this office grossed $100,000. That means he was worth $1 a minute. That means he was losing, and he was losing 30 minutes a day. So that one stack was costing his company $7,000 a year of lost productivity. So you can see what just one stack of papers is doing to companies all across the country. So we're going to look at 5 things very quickly. Method, the 5 M's: method, maxim, means, map, and maintenance. The first one is method. What would be the 5-step method to organize this drawer? Most of my clients, when I ask that in the seminars, they get 4 of them right. They say to me, well, Sue, we're going to take everything out and then we're going to sort it. We're going to get rid of it. And then Sue, we're just going to put it all back. And that's what my clients tell me they do. And they leave out the 4th step, which is key to organizing. And usually in my seminars, I ask, and I can't do that on this webinar. So what do you think the 4th step would be? And it's very critical, and a lot of people don't know it. So I'm going to tell you what it is, and it is contain. You've got to contain all of the items that are in the drawer. Here you have to search, you have to hunt, you have to move around, you have to unstack. You're losing time. And here you find it immediately. The key is containing. Now, those 5 steps right there, if you can use those 5 steps to organize your car trunk or your closet or your clothes or your storage rooms or your files or whatever. So those are my 5 steps that I've created. And if you use those 5 steps in that order, you can organize anything you own by using those 5 steps. So that's the method. Here you can see we have lots of space left, but in this drawer we had no space. In this drawer we used 1 container. In this drawer we used 2 containers. So it just depends on what you want, where you want it. Now let's look at the maxim. What is the one sentence that defines organization totally? There is a sentence that defines and describes organization totally, perfectly. And here it is. I'm going to give you just a minute to think through it. Organization is assigning a blank for everything, using blank that hold blank type of item. Most of my clients get the first two. Assigning a place for everything, using containers that hold, and when they get to the next one, most of the time they miss it. So here it is. Assigning a place for everything using containers that hold one type, not one, but one type of item. Now, where do you do that? Where in your home do every one of you do that description? Perfectly, totally. All of you do it in the same place in your home perfectly. Where is it? It's in your knife, fork, and spoon drawer. Now watch this. If you can organize one thing, you can organize anything. Watch now. Watch. Look at that drawer. You've done exactly that in that drawer. You've assigned a place for your knives, forks, and spoons. You've used containers for them, and each container holds only one type of item. If you can organize one thing, you can organize anything. So you can go and organize your office, your garage, your storage room, or whatever you need to organize. So the means are you got to use the correct containers. And here's a picture, and this picture is on my handout. So if you go to With Time to Spare and send me an email, I will send you my 6-page handout that will include these pictures so that you can buy the correct containers for your office. And then this is how one way you can use the stackables is for your copy paper. This is a company that I did all of their employees in Washington, D.C. And they said to me, our copy paper is a mess. Can you help us? And so I just used stackables. Now let's look at the map. In 1990, I started my business in 1982, and I was doing homes until 1990. And then in 1990, I got into the corporate, and I wanted to create a simple, snappy, succinct filing system that I could trademark. That would be very, very simple. Not only for paper files, but I found out later that you can use it for your computer files too. So it's called File Map, M-A-P. In other words, you take all the files you own. Let's say you have 5 drawers, or you have 9 drawers of files, or you may have 2 drawers of files. You take every file you own and you put it in initially put it in 3 categories, M-A-P. You're mapping your files. M stands for main. Main are the files that you're using right now. Main are the files that you're currently working on. Those files go in a separate drawer. Archive are files you've not looked at, you've never looked at, you won't ever look at, no one else has looked at, no one else will ever look at, but you might need them someday. Those are your archive files. And then P stands for personal. Those are your goals, your evaluations, your correspondence, your travel. Personal files. You've probably got 3 to 10 personal files in your professional office. So you take every file you own and you put them into 3 different areas. M, main, goes in probably in your desk drawer if you have a desk file drawer. All the other files are archived and they go in maybe a 2 or 3 drawer lateral system. And then you have a separate drawer for your personal files. And this is what it might look like. This is a cubicle or an office. And you can see the main is in his desk. And then the 2 drawer lateral filing system to the left is his archive. Now, once you set that up, you take the archive files, which is where most of your files are, and you put them in categories, and those categories are your work processes. In other words, what do you do? Those are your work processes, and they define your filing system, which is based on categories. So in other words, if you work in an HR department, your work processes are benefits, recruiting, and compensation. Those are your work processes. Those things are what you do, but they are also the categories of files that you create. So you don't set your files up alphabetically. Now, you do set your files up alphabetically if you have just 1 drawer of files. That's fine. But if you have 2 or more drawers of files, you want to set your archive files up in categories. If you're in accounting, it would be audits, budgets, and financials. The same at home, identical at home. You have a financial category. You have a medical category. You have an insurance category. You have a college category because your kids are in college. Whatever, you have all kinds of categories. And that's how you find your files. So what's it look like? Well, if you look on the left, you can see just a jumbled mess. This is a home office in Chicago that I did several years ago. And you can see on the right that the categories are the left tabs, and they are colored yellow. The left tab are colored yellow, and they are the categories. So banking is a category. Church is a category. Coaching is a category. You put the category tab on the left side of the file, and then all the files that go in that category, the tabs for those files go in the middle slot of your hanging file. So you can really see it quite easily. This man called me up. He said, Sue, I'm in sales, and I do a marketing campaign every Friday. And every Friday I go through this drawer, and it takes me 2 hours to pull all this stuff out and find what I need to do my marketing campaign. Can you help me? And so I said, I sure can. And so you can see the left tab is yellowed, and it's the category. So you have marketing as a category, and then you have, like I'm trying to read it here, canvassing and budget and offers and some other files there. Those tabs go in the middle, and they are white tabs. You don't color them, you just color the left tab, which is the categories. So that's how you organize your files. Think about your computer files also, your emails. You set up categories. Now, how do we organize loose papers? Well, I have a 3D system. Do now, do later, delegate. So if you have relatively small amount of loose papers, you can use the do now, do later, delegate. But if you have a lot of loose papers on top of your desk, you're going to have to subdivide the do now, subdivide the do later, and subdivide the delegate. So the do now might be to do, to call, to pay. The do later might be pending, to read, to file. And the delegate is, well, Sue, I delegate to more than one person. So here's how you do your papers. You organize your papers based on the action. What is the action you're going to do on your loose papers? I'm going to do them now. I'm going to do them this week. I'm going to do them later. I'm going to do them this month. I'm going to call. I'm going to pay. I'm going to read. I'm going to file. What's the action that you do? That's how you set up stackables for your loose papers. Again, same office. You can see the inbox, the do box, the delegate box. So that might be what it would look like. Here is a financial planner in Colorado Springs. She had a lot of loose papers, and we ended up using a lot of stackables, 5, 6 stackables. Some people say to me, I don't like stackables. Well, that's fine. You can use a rack. There's nothing wrong with that. If you don't like stackables, use a rack. This person, company in DC, used stackable and a rack. She used both. And she had 3 different places for her stackables and rack. This person said to me, I will not use stackables. I don't care what you say. I hate them. And so she had so little room that I had to use pockets, a magazine rack. So she literally went from 3 feet to 3 inches. Now she has her workspace back so that she has room to work. And we simply just put all of her papers to do, to file, pending, to call, to pay in that magazine rack. And then this lady, everything she worked on was in that massive file on the left. And she couldn't find anything, and these were sales orders. And I said to her, Lisa, how do you find the sales orders? And she said, it's by the number. And so we just simply made files based on the number that represent her sales orders, and now she can find them instantly. This is a registrar at Trinidad College in Trinidad, Colorado. And her name was Peggy. I said, Peggy, she was a registrar. I said, Peggy, what's that on the left? She goes, oh, those are registrations. I said, do you ever get back into that stack? She said, that's my work, Sue. I do it all the time. I said, how do you find it? She said, I go through it. Most of my clients tell me they go through it. And so I said, how do you find it? She said, Sue, it's based on the name. And so we simply set up A through Z. So now when she needs Jeff Jones, she goes to the J file. Now, here's the clinker. You have to stop producing and create the system. And my clients normally don't take the time to create the system. I mean, you can look at that right there and you can say to yourself, Sue, the picture on the right is going to save her lots of time. But she has to set it up. To do that, you have to stop producing. And my clients sometimes refuse to do that and will not set up systems. And that's why they hire me, because they either can't set it, they don't want to, and so they hire me so that I make them, or they don't know how, and so I teach them how to do it. So then we've looked at the method, the maxim, the means, and the map, and now we've got to look at maintenance. And maintenance is not difficult, but it's very, very hard for my clients to do. And I've come up with a formula for success, and I'm telling you this works. Once you organize your office, once your office is totally organized, you only need to spend 1 minute every hour to maintain your office. But you got to spend a minute every hour. Plus, at the end of the day, spend 15 minutes to clean up and put things away and plan for the next day. And then 4 days a year, you shut down and you devote to going through your office. If you do those 3 things, you will stay organized. But you've got to focus on maintaining. Yesterday, I wrote down this note, and I want to read it to you. If you are striving, driving, conniving, and contriving to simply produce, and you don't integrate organization, maintenance, sustainability, managing, repairing, and preserving, you will not stay organized. So you've got to spend 1 minute every hour of every day, 15 minutes at the end of the day, and 4 days a year to go through your whole office, and you will stay maintained forever and ever. Here's a picture of my landlord, and I wanted to show you this picture because I mow for him, and he has an older mower, and it has lasted quite a long time. And the reason is that literally every time I mow, after I mow, he cleans and sharpens his blade. I wanted to just show you that from a personal standpoint. His barns are very organized, and he is a maintainer. A man of understanding and knowledge maintains order. What about your storage solutions? What about your old archival files? What about all the archival old files you have in another room? What would it look like? And you can see the filing system on the left, which is not really a system, is a lot of manila folders. And you want to get rid of your manila folders if you can. If you have your clients or your members in manila folders, you won't want to get rid of those. But in your average archival filing cabinets, you want to eliminate your manila folders and set up your files in your archival file drawers the same as I taught you how to do it in your office, with the category tab on the left and the names of the files in the category in the middle slot of your hanging file. What about storage solutions? This is a hospital for organizing pamphlets, booklets, and brochures. We brought in more shelving units. Now, this is an old picture, but it is a tale worth telling, because you got to see this. This is a fabulous story. This is the Patent and Trademark Office in Washington, D.C. They hired me to do all 55 of their HR people in their HR department. As I was working there, I went by this room, and I said, "What's that room?" They said, "That's our storage room." And I said, "You mean that if you need a paper clip or a ruler or a pencil, you got to go through all those boxes?" And they said, "Pretty much." And I said, "You know what? Down the room," now this room here is 16 by 25. And I said, "Folks, down the hall is an empty room that's 8 by 8. Will you let me move all that stuff to the room that's 8 by 8 and free up this room that's 16 by 25? They said, "Yes." This is what we did. Now look on the left picture. You see the right arrow? We found all of those mail envelopes. The red envelope on the left picture, we found 3 shelves of notebooks. And the right picture, we found 1 wall of letterhead. The money that they were wasting was incredible. This was the Patent and Trademark Office. So you can see what organization does. You can access, you can find, You can love what you see. You can get to it. You can get to it quickly. You're not going through your work to get to your work. You're saving time, energy, space, and money. This client asked me to come and help them organize their storage room. Look at what we found. A refrigerator. Every time I show that slide, I get a kick. They did not know they had a refrigerator. They found it. Look at what else I did. You see that brown divider in the back of the room? It was not used properly, so we brought in shelving units. So you can see the key to organizing is not going out, it's going up. Not going out, it's going up. So you use all your walls for shelving. Oh my, I've done this whole hospital, literally every single office, even the cart room, every storage room in this large hospital. And this was a storage room. Look at what we did. There's 2 shelves on the left, 2 shelving units on the left, and there's 2 shelving units on the right. That means there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 shelving units, and we freed up 4 of them. That's 60% space saved because they just had junk they didn't need. And then what did we use for paper clips and staples and rubber bands and pens and pencils? We used containers, shoe boxes for those different items. I also do space planning. This woman did not like her office, so we brought in another desk. She didn't use her filing cabinets, she didn't use her shelving units, so we took them all out and made a new office. I also do very, very large organizations like Christian camps, like 900 acres, 1,700 acres. We're talking buildings in just a few days. And you can see the before and after. A lot of it was junk. A lot of it needed to go someplace else. A lot of it needed to be organized. This was a pole barn, a very large pole barn. You can see again, they just had things they didn't need. And I just simply get in a what is that called? Machine, and drive from building to building and rotate and motivate. And they even found a large sink. That's a lot of money. We just clear up a lot of space. This is the IT guy, and he literally had stuff strewn all over his office, and we simply used containers. PVC pipes were strewn all over this loft, and we just used boxes, and we labeled them 3-inch, 4-inch, 5-inch, and 6-inch. In 1.5 days, I organized with 30 people all of that in Alabama, in a Christian camp, because I don't do it. You do it. So when I come to your office, your professional office, I work with 10 to 15 people in one day. 10 to 15 people get their offices done in one day. And even there can be some storage rooms done in that same day. So you can see what can be done. I can also help you remotely. It's very, very simple to do with you sending me pictures and using FaceTime or Zoom. I can help you organize your office. I can help you organize your home. I did a kitchen in Japan. So there's remotely, it's very, very simple to do. Remember, the #1 paradigm shift, instead of saying, I don't have time to organize, you say, I organize to have time. Now, let me give you just a few ideas of your home, because again, I'm getting requests from people who are saying to me, I'm at home, I'm working at home, but my home is a mess and it's really bothering me. This is the #1 realtor in Colorado. She calls me up and she says, this is exactly what she said. Sue, I'm losing 20 minutes a day looking for my shoes. That's what she told me. Can you help me? I said, yes. And so I went to her home, and she had 80 pair of shoes. You don't see 80 there, but she had 80. And now the picture on the right, she has 40 pair of shoes. She could find her shoes instantly. I saved her 20 minutes a day. What about a laundry room? What about a junk drawer? This is a junk drawer in a very beautiful home. We turned a very large junk drawer into a spice drawer. Many of you have rotating corner cabinets. Don't put Tupperware there. Put large items there like casseroles or pans. Don't put food there. You can't see it. Put large items. The larger, the better, because you can see them and access them. What about Tupperware? Put the lids on. People gasp when they see this picture. Sue, I don't have enough room. I can't put lids on. I have to nest them. No, you don't have to nest them. You don't need that many. You just got too many Tupperware tubs. How many Tupperware tubs do you need? I have wonderful clients. They love me. I love them. Here's a before and after of pans and casseroles. You can see I put the lids on the casseroles and I put the lids on the pan. What about pantry? Use double lazy Susans, single lazy Susans, open baskets, and shoe boxes, clear plastic shoe boxes. In this pantry in Seattle, we uncovered 68 boxes of tea. That's the truth. 68 boxes of tea. Now this man, this is a home office. He's a manager at Wells Fargo in Chicago. He heard me speak at a company in Colorado Springs, and he walked up to me and he said, "You are hired. You are going to come to Chicago. You're going to help my 8 guys. I manage 8 guys at our Wells Fargo office. And then we are going to go to my home, and you're going to help me and my wife organize my home office." This is a before and after of one side of his home office. This is the other side. And you can see the key is using the right containers, mostly stackables. Again, these are the correct containers to organize your office. Don't forget to go to with time to spare. Send me an email. I will send you my 6-page handout that goes with this presentation, and it will have these pictures in it. Now, children love order. They do. I've worked with children all over the country. So if you have a child and you want me to come and help, I'll come to your home. I'll come to your office. I am not scared of COVID. So if you're not scared, I'm not scared. I'd be glad to come and work with your wife, your husband, your children, or I can do it remotely. I've worked with children remotely. I've worked with people remotely, older adults. This was an 8-year-old. Children love order. I have 2 books available at Amazon. One is on organizing your office. One is on organizing your home. I have 3 on my website. I have 3 ebooks. I think they're $5. Conquering Kitchen Clutter, A Quiet Place of Order, and 100 Tips to Tame the Clutter in Your Home. I also have a Christian webinar, Thinking for a Change. And here's how I can help you. At your office, on site or remotely, I can do a 1-day program for up to 10 people, working with them hands-on in their office. At the end of the day, they have a brand new office. I can work one-on-one, coaching just one person. I can give a keynote up to 500 or 5,000. You'll get immediate return on your investment. Here's how I can help you at your home. I can come to your home, or I can coach you remotely. Thank you so much. I hope that you enjoyed this webinar. And again, please contact me with time to spare. I'll be glad to help you in any way that I can.
Normally I'd be handing you a bottle of wine right now as a way of saying thanks. We do appreciate it. Thank you. Are there any questions for Sue at this time? Go ahead, and anybody want to unmute and ask her questions, please do so. Wow, come on. Jerry,
This is
you
Jerry
ask a
McMillin.
question?
I have one question for Sue. As a person who has a tendency to be one of the pack rats, how do you overcome the psychology of it? I understand the logic, and your presentation was quite compelling, but
Thank you.
How do you keep from sliding into bad habits?
Well, you'll probably need a coach to work with you. I need a coach to work with me when it comes to cooking. I slide back into it and I just won't do it. So I have a coach that helps me cook. I know most of you are thinking it's crazy. Anybody can cook, but no, I can't cook. So you probably need that for a season until you start developing new habits. And then eventually you'll come into it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And who was that again? Was that Jerry?
That was Jerry McQueen, yes.
Jerry, there are organizers. I'm assuming you're in Denver, and I'm in Colorado Springs. And again, I'm happy to help. There are organizers in Denver. There's probably 5 to 10 at least in Denver that can help you also.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Was there anyone else? Well, thank you, Sue. Once again, appreciate it very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, now on to some more stuff. Once again, I posted the SurveyMonkey link. Please take the, it's in our chat and right there. Please take the survey. And for those of you that are internet savvy, I've got a little surprise. You want to hit that QR code. Do appreciate that very much. Okay, guess what, folks? Before I get into the drawings, let's talk about next month. Next month, October 15th on a Thursday, we're going to do our next virtual dinner meeting. I've got Andy Magel lined up from Mile High Workshop. Topic isn't quite nailed down yet. We'll get back to you on that. Do appreciate that. Let's see here. Okay, let's make me a presenter on Lieutenant Colonel Grigg. And let's do the drawing. Okay. Start broadcast. All right. What I first promised you in the email was that an attendee in tonight's meeting, we would do a drawing for the SNOP. We'd have one free registration, but you had to, it was at this dinner meeting, you had to register for this dinner meeting. So here we go. The first, for the first drawing tonight, the winner is Baja Beta. You know, let's, would you like to draw again, guys? Considering the instructor just won.
We'll draw again, Joe.
That's awesome.
Because Bob's got to be there.
Who'd have planned that? All right. Ken Cruz. All right. You have a, should you attend the sales and operations plan, you can attend for free. Okay, let's change to our $100 progressive drawing. How much are we up to right now, folks? Does anybody know?
200.
Should be 200. Yeah, I guess we didn't do July, so August and September we were up to $200. You must be a member and you must be present to win. So let's see. Here we go, folks. Mike Kinzette, you are present, aren't you?
Yes, I'm here. It's awesome.
All right.
Huzzah!
Congratulations.
Yay! Somebody showed up. Yay!
Mike, how about that, huh?
Pretty awesome. Thank you.
Cool. Congratulations.
Wow. You never expect to see your name, but then when you do, boy, it's a good feeling.
Awesome.
You just have to make sure that Gary hasn't passed out due to excitement.
All right.
Gary said to give out a lot more money than that before.
It's like I don't want to give away money, but Mike, if you could get your address to me so that I can send it to you, I would appreciate it.
You bet. We'll do it for sure.
Thank you.
Okay, folks, don't forget, we will have one more chance for registration. Well, registration is open on the virtual tour and live tasting of the whiskey of Vapor Distillery on the registration closes on Friday, and the tour and tasting is on the 24th. And in October, virtual dinner meeting, October 15th. Turn it over back to Roger, please.
Thank you, Joe. Hopefully you all identified with some of that organizational things that Sue talked about. We all can be a little more organized. I know it's been a tough transition for some of you that are working out of your home and your office, and you got files in both places. And so hopefully some of those things helped, and it was a meaningful meeting. Hopefully you enjoyed the networking session as well. It's nice to connect with all of you again, and thank you very much for coming tonight. We appreciate it. Good night, and we'll see you either at the tour virtually or at the October dinner meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Roger.